Jay Pachpur sir, I have to bring back you to digitalization. Okay, so ma'am, Neelam ma'am has introduced about this topic that I'm going to talk on HMIS, but actually I'm not going to talk on HMIS. HMIS is a very small part of uh, digital infrastructure what we have. So basically, our human generation is divided into different groups. There is do you know that there is a generation X, there is generation Y, there is a generation Z, and then there is a generation Alpha. No, this generation Alpha, generation G, or the generation XY, these all generations are based on the digitalization. The very beginning of digitalization or the information technology, the generation which has born in during 1965 to 80, that was called a generation X, then followed by generation Y, which has, that was a transition phase where the manual technologies have taken over to the digital technology, that is called as millennials also. And then come to the generation Z, and now after 2010, whatever the generation has born, that is called as a generation Alpha, which they have, it is said that they have technology in their DNA. Okay, so basically what I'm going to giving the glimpse on digitalization. So what is digitalization? Digitalization is, there are two terms. One is digitization and the other one is a digitalization. The digitization is different, whereas digitalization is different. Digitization is a small term, which means the first picture shows where the paper things are converted into soft copies. That is digitization. Whereas digitalization includes everything from manual to automatism. That is called as a digitalization. Now in the next few slides, we are going to have the look on these topics, like digitalization in general, and then the digitalization at government level, then at our NMC level, then MUHS level, and at BMC what we are following. Now digitalization is something which is followed in various sectors all across the world. Now these are the sectors which you can see, because I have given only 10 minutes every speaker, so I am not talking in detail about these things. We will wonder to know that the health and education sector had joined this digitalization very late and very slow. Now in recent years, like 1 or 2 years, the digitalization in this health sector is very fast. And the main turning point, can you guess? What was the turning point in last 2 years that has made us to accept the digitalization? COVID-19 pandemic. That has created a huge impact on us, and because of that, the people who were reluctant to accept the digitalization has started accepting it, and now it is revolutionized in the health sector. Now in health sector, we can use digitalization at various domains: the patient care, administration, education, and research. So these are the main domains which I have selected, in which you can use the digitalization facilities. These are the terms which you can see, that electronic health records, which it means, like, by its meaning is creating a digital record of every patient or every individual who is into hospital. So HMIS or HIMS, these are the two, information word is first and then information word is later. So these two terms are one and the same. So HMIS is a part of this system. It is not something which is, HMIS is not everything about the digitalization. HMIS is a very small part of it. So then in administration, we are already using it, but there are various tools, and the effectiveness of this digitalization is not yet come in our system. Then in education, after COVID especially, we have started using this digitalization mainly. The online courses, then webinars, e-learning platforms that have come forward afterwards. The very interesting thing is virtual reality and augmented reality. These are the actually upcoming fields where education field can use it. So what is virtual reality? Virtual reality is like, you might have went into a mall where the game zones are there, where they just put a VR machine on your eyes, and then you have a tour. then there is a bumpy road and all everything. Similarly, same kind of situation can be used for a body, where you are putting up that VR and you have a human body, and in the human body you can have a tour. You can just see that where is the heart placed, and besides the heart where are the position of different anatomical organs and all. So this is kind of a gamification of what you are learning, and that makes you learn very fast and understand the things very nicely. Then I did not to tell that in research this digitalization has worked very fast, and it has given us a lot of inputs from it. Besides this, what are the important aspects of the digitalization? The main future, or you can say that this is the coming future, that is generative AI. AI means artificial intelligence, that you know it. Now generative AI means what? A generative AI is when you are putting some raw inputs to the robo or to the AI. It gives you the summary of that, or it gives you the mixing and all, everything what you have input into it. Like for example, if you are giving a speech, and if you want to give a speech and you want to write it through this generative AI, just give the topic, tell the audience which are the audience over there, and then at what level you want it, whether you want it at a formal level or creative level and all. If you just input these things, the generative AI will prepare your speech, and that speech you can use. In a similar way, the AI can be used in healthcare, like for the radio diagnosis. This is the upcoming field where the AI is used in the radio diagnosis, where the image can be analyzed. Human is analyzing what radiologists do is analyzes the image, MRI and CT scan, and then he diagnoses, or he just gives his input. In a similar way, if you can just give the inputs of different images, and if it is studied properly by the AI can diagnose it. At least it will support the radiologist to give the proper diagnosis. Then basic skills are being taught to this AI. For example, the Alexa, everybody knows Alexa is one of the AI, which is the name given by the Amazon. Okay, and then there is a Siri, and lot many are there. Recently the American Heart Association has taught this Alexa the steps involved in this resuscitation. And now she can tell, if you ask her that how to go about the resuscitation, because when the heart stops, the first thing that you have to do is restart it, and that is how this procedure follows, and that is told by the Alexa in a very nice way and very scientific way. But then what is its impact, how it is useful, or how much it will be impactful, that we don't know. But that is now started. The another skill the Alexa is learning is being a companion for the elderly persons. Like just the elderly person who are alone at home, if they talk with the Alexa in general, like how are you Alexa and all, the Alexa will respond accordingly, and she will talk with them. She can share stories and jokes with her, whoever is the person talking to her. So this way we can use that in a maintaining the mental health. Similarly, in drug discovery, then in diagnosis based on the clinical and the clinical inputs and the clinical symptoms, or the laboratory inputs, like put up the laboratory inputs, radio imaging, then some of the biochemical parameters, pathological parameters which you have investigated, and what are the clinical symptoms, give it to the AI, and based on that, whatever your search is, that will be narrowed down by the AI, and it will tell you that the possible diseases the person might be suffering is this and this. This will help the clinician a lot. Then, as I told you, that the digitalization is not about just digitizing the things. It is about the automatism and robotic surgeries and all. Everybody knows. This is pneumatic chute system which is used in the laboratories. Most of you might be knowing this. What is pneumatic chute? Pneumatic chute is somewhere you can just take up the sample from the patient and put it into that cylinders and press the button or the number where you want that sample to be sent. Through this piping system, that sample will go to that particular laboratory or wherever you are destined with, and there the recipient will take that sample. So you can save the time, you can save the manpower, and by using this computerized system. So that is how this digitalization can be used, and it is the future. Now our government has taken an initiative, and in this initiative the government has first step was the Aadhaar. First we have created Aadhaar, then we have health IDs for the patients, So I'm not going into the details of it. Personal health records, the headings itself will tell you that what is it and what are the initiatives taken by the government. Then there is health. Recently, very recently, I think last year or 1.5 years before, the NMC has started this health facility registry, or the government has started, where you can have a repository of the hospitals, and then there is a repository of doctors as well, clinicians, and this e-Sanjeevani OPD and all these concepts have come, and that is being implemented all over the India. Now, I will talk about the health facility registry and DigiDoctor. If you just suit these two things, now the COVID pandemic was a disaster, and that time it was very difficult to find out the doctors or the hospitals, or even if any accident happens or any natural calamity occurs, then it is very difficult to find out these facilities. But with this kind of a repository, you can just search on the net, or the government can find out that which doctors or which specialty doctors are available nearby, and that way the triage system can be very effectively operated. Then NMC again has brought up this digitalization. It is the efforts of NMC to regularize the medical colleges by the biometrics to check the attendance, then by this CCTV camera surveillance to check the OPDs and the attendance of the doctors or the professors over there, and then the HMIS where from the NMC can collect the data from the patients or what type of patients are coming to any hospital. If you come to the MUHS has already implemented these many services. Now, you will see that these services are available with MUHS or even to the government. But the problem is we are not effectively using it. So for example, online teachers data. There is a OTD system available with MUHS. But still every inspection we have to give the list of the faculty or the list of the those who are teaching in the college. This needs to be updated regularly, and if it is updated, I don't think that the MUHS need it. Then again the examiner's name has to be given, and then this system, if it is effectively used by the MUHS, I think that many works of the MUHS can be brought down very fast. Then there are different systems like online practical mark theory submission, which is already in operation. Then recently, like in the last month, the online assessment has been introduced by this MUHS. Now what MUHS did is, there is online assessment wherein a examiner has to go to the digital center and assess the papers. Now this is a suboptimal use, what I find myself, because if at all you are providing a digital platform to assess the paper, then why not the paper should be sent to the person who can check it, okay, through a login system, where some of the states of our India are already doing. Now there is always a question that is asked, what about the security? Anybody can check, okay, but then there is a webcam which after 3-4 or random minutes, it will see that whether the same person is sitting there or not. So that kind of system or the security has been introduced by those states, and they are implementing it. There are different challenges when you are putting up or implementing the digitalization. The digital divide, where the infrastructure available in Mumbai and the infrastructure available in some of the villages of Maharashtra, they are very different, and so the digitalization cannot be same as Mumbai as in that village. So there is a digital divide in a demographic regions. Then privacy and security, cybercrime and all, I need not to tell. Then workforce adaptation. This is a big challenge. People are not ready to accept this new things. If the HMIS comes, then there is a certain group of people who will always oppose it. When biometrics comes, there is certain group of people who will always oppose it. Okay, so we have to see the pros and cons. We have to take everybody into confidence and then solve this, whatever the queries or the doubts they are having about the system. Then huge data management. When you collect from the digitalization, you collect a lot of data. That data need to be segregated, and it should be optimally used for the patient benefits or the healthcare industry. And the another thing is infrastructure and technical dynamism, where the laptop which I am using today, after 5 years it becomes outdated. So it is a challenge actually. The softwares we are using today, after 5 years it becomes outdated. So we need to update these systems, and this is incurring cost. So we have to think over it, like how we can solve these issues. Now these kind of issues or the digitalization is possible with this investments like high-speed internet, compatible hardwares, then interoperable platform software, secure data storage, and effective implementation of government policies. Digital missions, like many digital missions have come after 2020, after COVID. I think most of these things we have covered, like high-speed internet is now coming. It has started very slowly. When I do remember that it was when I started using it, it was 5 kbps was the speed, and broadband used to come about 64 kbps. That time broadband means 64 kbps is too much. Now we are getting 1 gbps around. So there is a revolution going on. Now I will be interested in talking about, we have infrastructure but we are not using it optimally. For example, this one. I wonder that in BMC colleges or even in state government colleges, why we are not using the e-payment system. I request all these officials of MCGM to start it, because the student fees, the registration fees, that can be collected. This is a platform which is available. The banks are coming, they are giving us this kind of facility. Why we are not using it? We should implement it. We need a push for this so that we can use it. Then online communication platform. We don't have any online official communication platform as such. If the AMC office want Zoom, they purchase on their own. If Nayardeen wants one, they purchase one. Now, why there is no collective or something, there is a tie-up with some partnership so that we can have the online communication platforms. There is no such a system available in here, and we need to focus on it. Then effective use of emails and SAP. We have emails. Till today, if you send the email to person, we have to give a call to that person and tell that I have sent you email. And the same system happens in the administrative level as well. So that we need to, like SAP system is implemented, it is working fine, but still a person who has got retired today will get his pension after 2 years. I don't know why it is happening. So if we have a SAP, if we are using it, we should use it effectively. And that is what digitalization says, that it gives you the impactful way of using it. Then the student information system. This is a very cheaper software available in the market. It costs per student 10 rupees or 200 rupees per year, wherein we can have the fees, all the data, personalized data of the students can be secured, it can be kept, and by this you can have this various ways by which you can maintain the student information system. You can give them different certificates and all. So I will conclude my topic with, this is what the digitalization gives you. We have the digitalization, we are using it, but the only thing is we are not optimally using it. We are trying to create a butterfly out of digitalization, but what we are doing is we are using it to make a faster caterpillar. The caterpillar is not turning into butterfly. We are just making a faster caterpillar. We are happy with that. So we should change our mentality and use this digitalization very effectively. Thank you so much,
Dr. Sanjay. Very nice presentation. Our digital clock shows 13 minutes. So next speakers, I would request that we have to restrict to 10 minutes, and we'll be giving you a reminder at 8 minutes. Yeah.
So we don't want last minute rush where some speaker has some important concept and they'll miss it. So we'll give one reminder at 8 minutes so that you're aware that now another 2 minutes and you have to wrap. Just to summarize what Swami sir has said, that what is the main hindrance for using this is not the infrastructure. We have 4G, 5G available. We have all kind of equipments available. We have Skills India coming where local made laptops are also available, and maybe after a few years it will be disposable also. What is the main problem is adaptation and accepting this system, for which I think youth population is the best for the flexibility of accepting it. So senior experienced people with their experience and youths with their energy level and acceptance, if they are going to work together, definitely we will have policies which will be followed till the ground level. That is what the whole idea, I think, of Y20 with the part of this G20. So I think main problem is acceptance and adapting to the system, which yes, definitely our generation, since it is in transformation, Speed is a little bit slow, but slowly we will pick up, and definitely we will have the best outcome of this. As we have already seen, Ayushman Bharat digital mission has started, Ayushman Bharat health accounts have started, and definitely it is going to be useful and going to change whole medical practice. I'm not touching upon the robotics and surgery, but I think whole medical system is going to change. And what we are saying today, that it is going to difficult, it is difficult to change. After 10 years we'll say it is all possible. So that's the whole idea of involving this session into the part of G20, so that we will have policies coming up which will make these things practical for people. So I think nice session. Thank you, Dr. Swami. We will like to invite the next speaker.
We would like to request the chairpersons to kindly hand him the certificate of appreciation. We call upon our next expert for the day, Dr. Aditi Ade.
Yeah. So as you said, one reminder will be at 8 minutes so that you can wrap up your talk. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Aarti Adhe Rozekar Madam. She is a senior consultant in IVF and gynecology at Hinduja Hospital, Mahim. She is obstetrician by occupation, more than 20 research papers in her credit at national and international journals. She is working in this field for more than 10 years. And additional part is she is also known for her social activities through the organization called Sevankor, which she has been appreciated for the work done during the COVID time through this organization. She is an orator, a teacher who conducts training program for reproductive medicine. She is also reviewer of Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Today she is going to speak about improving physical and mental well-being through adoption of traditional medicine and yoga. So stage is yours, madam. You can start.
Thank you so much for such a warm welcome, respected seniors. So half of my talk is the practical aspect is already, we have already heard from Pachpur sir, and I'll be speaking about the theoretical aspect now. So basically I'm a gynecologist and IVF practitioner, but as Kranti knows my background and family, so I am a best person to tell you about the traditional medicine, because I have all kind of pathies in my family. So my medical journey started because of my father, who's Ayurvedic medical practitioner, and he works in a very small town. And whenever there are like rare medical disorders, the diagnosis is also difficult, but still whenever I tell him that how in like childhood, whenever I used to ask him, how are you going to diagnose what is there and how are you going to treat in such a small place, he used to tell me, "Garaj hi shodhachi janani ahe." So as you face the needs, you definitely try to find out the solutions. And if today I think we are all maximum allopath and western we are trying western medications, but I think if I ask you all, are we really practicing our traditional medicine in our daily use? I think I say yes. Even if you say no, you eat all the Indian diet, you follow all the cultural things which are there incorporated in our lifestyle. It's just that we are not notifying it, we are not giving respect to that thoughts, and we are not specializing and we are not labeling that as a traditional medicine. I feel G20 has given us, particularly Y20 here now, has given us a very good platform to give respect back to our traditional medicines. So I feel even if you are following the westernized medicine, I feel you should notice certain things and try and respect our traditional medicine from henceforth. So basically our traditional medicine has given us swasthasya swasthya rakshanam. So westernized medicine is telling us to treat the disorders, but here in traditional medicine what we have learned is nobody is except few inborn childhood illnesses, nobody is born with diseases. So whatever swasthya we have got has to be protected. That is what our traditional medicine teaches, and we have such a long legacy of Vagpat Samhita, Sushrut Samhita and Charak Samhita. Because of time restrictions, I am running on my slides. So we are rich in traditional medicine. In India, about 70% of modern drugs are found in natural resources, and many other synthetic analogues have been prepared from it. It is reported that more than 60% of anti-cancer drugs on the market or in clinical trials are based on herbs. Currently, about 80% of antibacterial, immunosuppressive, cardiovascular and anti-cancerous drugs come from plants. More than 70% of 177 approved anti-cancerous drugs are based on natural products. Ayurveda, which is our Indian culture, is the most important representative of all of them. Indian medicine is not only a means of medical treatment but also a healthy way of life. It emphasizes that human health requires both personalized medicine as well as holistic approach. And out of world's plant resources, India has got 8% resources, which is at least 44% can be developed into drugs. So what WHO says about traditional medicine? So traditional medicine is nothing but the sum total of, so here I am playing the role of Naneshwar, as sir said that you all know everything, but I am just trying to put it in front of you all. So the traditional medicine by WHO is sum total of knowledge, skill and practices based on theories, beliefs and experiences indigenous to different cultures that are used to maintain health as well as to prevent, diagnose, improve or treat physical and mental illnesses. Throughout the world, majority of population continue to rely on their own traditional medicine for their primary healthcare needs. We have also labeled traditional medicine as either complementary or alternative medicine. More than 80% of world's population, over 170 of WHO's 194 member states, currently use some form of traditional medicine. In India, we are using Ayush. Ayush is Ayurveda, Yoga, Siddha, Homeopathy. Few of them are acupuncture, acupressure and indigenous therapies. So whole world now needs it. And the basic need, as my previous speaker said, I mean, he has taken you to the modernization. I'm taking you back to our history and ancient things. So basically, COVID has taught us a lot, and in COVID we have learned that we really need certain kind of treatment which we can still follow at home, and that is our traditional medicine. Also, the whole world needs it because the countries have aging and highly urbanized population. High morbidities and high mortalities are seen mainly in non-communicable diseases nowadays, which include cerebrovascular, cardiovascular, cancers, respiratory illnesses, metabolic disorders, diabetes mellitus. As we all know, those who are here and who are practicing medicine, everybody knows by maybe 2025, India is going to be the capital of diabetes mellitus. Insulin resistance is found in all kind of age groups. So definitely we need to streamline our lifestyle by using either yoga or traditional medicine. Hence the first India US workshop was conducted on 3rd and 4th of March in 2016, and there was a common dialogue between Ayush as well as NCI. NCI is the US based organization, and where they have discussed a long-term plans which now I think we should implement in our practices. So Ayurveda is Ayu and Veda, which is science of life. It is a comprehensive system that places equal emphasis on the body, mind and spirit, and it strives to restore the innate harmony of the individual. It is practiced in India for over more than 5,000 years. Charaka, Sushruta and Acharya Nagarjuna, Vedas 5000 BC, which describes about 100 plants and treatments of various diseases. So what are the characteristics of traditional medicine which are not there in westernized medication? So there are details which I think we may discuss later on, but the main two characteristic is, first is Rasayana, which is rejuvenation therapy, which is not seen in westernized medication. And then second is Panchakarma, which is purification therapy, that is also not seen. Detoxification is the new term which has come, but if you see the ways of detoxification in westernized medicine, it is the same old traditional medicine which is like transformed in and modified into like new terminologies, and now they have labeled that thing as a detoxification. The basic scientific term is panchakarma or purification therapy from Ayurveda. So the effectiveness in day-to-day life, what we are seeing is effectiveness of Ayurveda, Siddha and homeopathy. The best example is right in front of us. Sir is sitting here who has tried traditional medicine and has got cure, and we wish you, sir, that you should still not need any kind of Western medicine and live long life. The other effective results and pathies, so which I have seen myself, they are stated in literatures, they are published in journals, but I think we should work on this little more. So in cardiology, as sir said, sir has tried something, but we have seen effects with Arjuna Rishta. In gynecology, which is my own subject, and I have tried my own and seen very nice effects of ashwagandha, which is, the market name is M2 tone, and many of my patients after use of M2 tone have conceived. Because I am a reproductive medicine person, I can definitely tell you about this. Obstetrics, we have seen Shatavari or Satavarix, which we give as a lactogen producing medicine. In rheumatology, Giloy or Gokshuradi Gugur is there. In gastroenterology, alum. So basically, in Western medication, in gastroenterology, except the liver transplant and only the palliative care, there is no curative medicine available in gastroenterology, which they have proved and they have published with use of alum. So the pilot study, this is some scientific data where a pilot study in which metal-based formulations are used to cure acute myelocyte leukemia, anti-cancer effects of, so this is about Ayurveda. The other very good pathy which is there in our Indian culture, which we have given place in Ayush, is homeopathy, where homeopathic preparations, Thuja accidentalis, has shown very good anti-cancer effects. The results from this study showed Thuja, sulfur and Calcarea carbonica. Usually they induce apoptosis in cancer cells through a p53 dependent pathway. The other cancers...
Sorry to interrupt you, madam.
Yes.
Just 1 minute more you have. We have
Right.
already finished with 9 minutes.
Okay.
So I don't want you to skip some of the important things.
Sure,
So you
sir.
can summarize in 1 minute.
Thank you so much, sir. So 2 slides on yoga, sir. So now yoga, where I have displayed 8 types of yoga which are there and how they really help us in maintaining our healthy lifestyle as well as our mental status. So as we say that meditation is required in Western medication, we always tell you people to practice yoga in our day-to-day life so that you should not fall ill and the swasthya should be protected. So yoga, as you know, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has declared 21st of June as a International Yoga Day, because it is the longest day of the year and in the northern hemisphere. So there are differences between yoga asanas and physical exercises. If you people have question, maybe we can discuss it in question answer session. So as far as the ministry is concerned, government has taken a very good stand after formation of Ayush Mantralaya. But I feel how to incorporate traditional medicine in our practice. So definitely we have respect for our own pathies which we have learnt, but that doesn't mean that we should disrespect what is there in our culture and what we are still practicing, but not modifying, not respecting. So I really request you all people that if you are practicing, please practice it for the betterment of patient, and if you are practicing, please label and give respect to that own pathy. So I finish my saying, there are 2-3 slides, but these are just aims and objectives to form policies. But I really thank you for giving me this platform to share my views, because I have learned this right from my childhood. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for Dr. Aarti, because she is kind of connecting allopathy to Ayurveda, our traditional medicines. Very nice, very appreciable.
And I think that's the need of time, as madam has correctly said. Traditional medicine is based on theory, knowledge, beliefs and experiences, as Sanjay sir also shared his own experience. But what is important to highlight here is whatever experiences we have, that needs to be transformed into research, converted into evidence, and then it will become a practice. So again, we need international platform for that. So through this G20, we have that international platform available where, you know, our traditional medicine, if it is transformed into research and evidence, it will become a practice, because the scientific community will not go by experience of one person. It has to be presented in a scientific way. That is what I want to add what Sanjay sir has said. So again, we need here what is evidence-based medicine we talk about. If we incorporate such practice into evidence-based medicine, and we have a lot of research coming, which Ayush Mantralaya is definitely doing that. So we will see that change also. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Sir, requesting you to kindly hand over the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Aarti. I call upon our next expert for the session, Dr. Aarti Ade. Sorry, Dr. Swati Rane.
So Dr. Swati Rane is a faculty at TISS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences. She will be speaking on improving access to health financing for citizens. She is a seasoned healthcare entrepreneur with a 20 years experience. She is founder of Seva Shakti, which is a boutique healthcare consulting firm, and she is a vice president of Clinical Nursing Research Society. Over to Dr. Swati ma'am.
Very good afternoon to the August gathering, and I'm very thankful to Shashibala ma'am and Kranti sir to give me this opportunity, and BMC definitely for taking this thing as a great platform to bring all of us together here. I'll not take much time. I will try to wrap up in 10 minutes. Though it is a topic of it is like a module. This topic is of a module which we teach in TISS, but I will try to wrap up in 10 minutes. So when I got this improving access to healthcare financing of young citizens, so when the topic came and when I started reading about it, and when I started reading about youth, as a academician, definitely I'll go for the definition of youth and what is the age. So I started talking to artisans. What do you think about youth? What do you all do in the healthcare ministry about youth? What are you planning to do about youth? And that time they told, madam, do you know youth is not defined? And I was shocked because youth is defined by WHO. The youth age is defined by WHO. But to my surprise, WHO's age of youth and the national health policy what we have taken, that age of youth is different. And the adolescence to adulthood, when we are going, we are all healthcare practitioners, we know the changes what are happening in an adolescent and in an adulthood. So a person who is 10 years old to 29 years old, he will not have the same healthcare problems. So when you are going to do as a policy maker or as the stakeholders who are going to plan healthcare policy, we have to think about it. So I have used the lens of analytics here so that we understand, are we moving towards the right path? Are the policymakers even aware of the policies what they are doing? Because we are the ones who is going to see the patient in the cabin. In the OPD, we are the ones who is going to look at the patient. So if we are going to look at the patient, have they asked us? So today's youth is not the youth which we were the youth, because when I see my teenager daughter and myself, I feel that, you know, I will have to take next 10 lifetimes to become like her, because her questions are different, her problems are different, her health issues are different, because the health issues today we all in COVID have understood that the health issues are not remaining only physical. आज की तारीख में जैसे हमारे पंचकोशा है, वैसे हमारे इश्यूज भी पंच हो गए, क्योंकि अभी हम लोग ने एक्सेप्ट किया है कि मेंटल हेल्थ इशू होता है, वो उसके दिमाग में होता है, there is a mental body. हमारे पास एक्स्ट्रा 4 बॉडीज़ है जिसको हम लोग ने अभी तक एलोपैथी वालों ने एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया. हम लोग खाली फिजिकल के ऊपर ही काम कर रहे हैं. बट देर आर सो मेनी इश्यूज which are the disease itself starts from your mental health. Okay, then it comes to your emotional health, and then it comes to your energy body, and then it comes to your physical health. And by that time, it has already gone inside, but nobody has taught us this. But definitely Ayurveda and Ayush is bringing us to that. So when we are going to think about improvement of my topic, which is improving healthcare finances, so we have to think, what is youth? What is healthcare? What healthcare are we talking about? Okay, and how are we going to touch that part? I will get finances. So today, if I talk about finances, finance is not an issue. Everybody, healthcare is become a commodity now. So everybody wants to invest into healthcare. Okay. So today it is very important because India has the largest youth population. By 2050, we are going to have maximum of them, and we don't want them to be unhealthy. We want them to be healthy. Okay, so we are the ones who have to dictate the international policies. We are the ones who have to talk and dictate to them what is healthcare and what is youth. What are the challenges faced by youth? So today, more than issues which were always physical, now we have accepted that my child may require counseling at the age of 2, like he said. Like when we are going for admission, okay, instead of checking the school and the teacher, we first see the infrastructure, whether there is AC, but AC is not required for your child. AC is bad if your child is there for 8 hours in the AC, he's not or she's not getting normal, regular air. So we have not even thought, but our youth are going where today? Today the youth, there is no social thing. You didn't have to make friends. Your friends were there already for us. Today the youth has to find friends on internet, on social medias. So everything is virtual, and we have not thought of it. So the issues of the health have changed. The challenges of health has changed, and we have to bring that thing in our mind, that what are those challenges, what we have to see. Today there is air pollution, malnutrition. Today even the child who is from the higher middle class is anemic because she wants to look good. My daughter, she doesn't have breakfast in the morning and she goes, because I want to maintain myself. She'll take time to apply makeup, but she will not take time to eat breakfast. So as a mother, I have to be very smart enough to tell her that if you eat this, your skin will glow. So I have to be very strategic. So just imagine what you have to think while you are going to deal with such patients. But today, do we have infrastructure for such patients? Is it easy for a young unattended or early pregnancy to attend in a private area where we can talk to her, where we can counsel her? No. Today the issues are very different, as I have said to you. So even hypertensive cases in children are seen. So we have to understand that early unattended pregnancies are going to be coming on our faces. Okay, because the children are on mobile continuously, they are sexually active by the age of 10. And have we gynecologists thought about it? Unsafe sex, definitely. There are many school teachers who are facing these issues. They're saying, madam, because I also deal with schools education, and they say, we don't know what to do. We have not trained for it. So today we need to be given training to teachers first and parents first about all these things. Nutritional disorders, I have told, overweight and underweight both. Alcohol, tobacco and drug abuse, the next speaker will talk about. The mental health concern is the major. Suicide rates are increasing. Road accidents, injuries and sexual violence, domestic violence is going at a higher speed. So the patients what you're going to see in next generations will be very different. You don't need your stethoscope and BP, then you need a calm mind yourself. So as per NFHS 5, almost 15.5% of girls and 1.6% of boys are getting married before their legal age. And this is a social issue. Nobody is talking about the social issues which we are facing. We are only thinking the patient as a physical body today. in the national health policy, both in the draft or in the current policy, there is nothing talk about the disabilities, nothing talked about the third gender. So we have to think about that. So these issues, as I'm telling you, are these issues considered in our national programs, policies, public health system? These are the questions which you have to ask because you're the stakeholders, you're going to run the places. Are we equipped to handle these current scenarios? Is there an infrastructure? Is there a place where you can take a child who is, you recently heard no, a case where a doctor was killed by a psychic patient. The doctors are dying. Is doctors' lives so cheap? So what are we supposed to do to make the infrastructure safe for the doctors, for the healthcare workers? And that's where the finance should go now.
Madam, we are done with the 8 minutes. 2 minutes
Okay,
more for
I'll
you.
just finish it. Now coming to the healthcare financing. So healthcare financing is a core function of health systems that enable the progress towards the universal health coverage by improving the effective service coverage and financial protection. And this we get from our taxes. This we get from the private healthcare. This we get from our NGOs. And this we get also from foreign funds. Okay, that is how the healthcare is run. I will make it more easy as possible. I'll not go into the... so it is generation, allocation and use of financial resources. So financial resources is a very complex thing. So understanding from where the money comes and where it flows, it's very complex. I told you it's a module in TISS. So India's health financing mechanism is largely based upon out-of-pocket because 80% is private healthcare. So definitely only the person who has finance can get the care. Rest, thank you very much. Okay? So this should not be done. So health and well-being of the youth are essential, and most important, the personal development starts from the house, from the way the parents behave. So when our children have problems in the schools, I tell the teachers, please counsel the parents first. See to it that is the anger issues in the father and the mother, and then check it with the child. So these are the things what we have. So we have to change our lenses. We have to unlearn lot of many things, and we have to relearn and create new things for us. So national health policy has lot of schemes, but these schemes are very much again physically thought of. And mental health policy, I am not regarding so high to it because I hardly see anything in it. So adolescent health programs are so many. I'm not going to read them. You know all of it. And this is the way the majority of the healthcare system expenditure is spent on, the public health, private, and the non-public and the non-government. So improving the access to healthcare finance, first, where is this patient going to be? The youth, I will not call the patient, where is our buddy going to be, the client going to be? The client is going to start from the household, in the schools, in the colleges, and in the workplaces. So all our healthcare financing should be turned around how I can make the environment friendly. First, the air, water, sanitation friendly. The schools where they are going, are the schools having no bullying policies? Okay. So our healthcare finances should not go to the drugs, to the pharma companies or the diagnostic companies, but they should come to the social organizations, to the counselors. Okay. So improved school health services, nutrition, as she rightly said, and Sanjay sir rightly said, कुछ बूस्ट उसका ज़रूरत नहीं है. नाचनी तवे पे सेक के ग्राइंड करके अगर भाकरी नहीं अच्छा लगता है तो उसका सत्तू बना के खा लो मॉर्निंग में. So there are many such things which are coming. There are many organic foods which are coming which you can give to your children. So food, so basic thing for a person to be healthy is what? Good food, good sanitation, good environment, sunlight, exercise. Does it require crores of money? I don't think so. So I think we have to change our angle and we have to change our thinking, and let us come to the basic. If God has sent us without clothes, we really don't require such things. So let us come to the basics. Let us understand what the youth needs. The youth needs today your time. The children need today your time. The youth needs value system. Who is giving the value system? There is no moral science lessons taught to the youth. So please, when you are talking about healthcare financing, think about all these issues. Think about the importance of the child's freedom. think of the child's importance of happiness. Happiness doesn't come by giving him iPhone, please. No. From that iPhone only that child will be talking and gossiping about the parents of us who are there. See, my mummy is not come yet. So there are many things which we have to think, and I will close the session by saying that think about preventive and be proactive. Then we don't require palliative. Thank you very much.
Very nice, Dr. Swati. It was kind of a wake-up call for all of us and the task holders of the health infrastructure, people, how to plan the future for the current youth for the health. One point, actually I felt that Dr. Aarti had got quite a lot solutions for the problems which you have spoken about, Ayurveda and yoga. We talk about psychosomatic diseases, our mind causing diseases to the body. That means the mind is so stronger, it can cause diseases to the body. We need to understand that mind can also heal the body, and that's what we all are speaking about.
So I think a lot of problems for the youth, madam has already said, but at the same time there is a lot of potential also in this youth. So we have to provide opportunity to that potential, and we have to take care of those problems. I think that's the role as a seniors, what we have for the youth. So thank you, madam. Thank you very
so
much.
much for giving me this platform. Thank you so much. I would just like to add, when the healthcare workers come, it is not only the doctors or the policy makers. We have to go from the ground level, from the receptionist, from the nurses, from the technicians. They all should be part of us here. So when we are talking about Vasudeva Kutumbakam, it should start with us. Because I'm just seeing doctors, and that is not right. We need socialists, we need social scientists, we need counselors, we need everybody, and that time we can achieve this, what we want to achieve. Thank you so much.
I call upon the next expert for the day, Dr. Rajesh Dere, sir.
Hello. So by the time sir is reaching to stage, I'll try to finish introduction. Though we are running short of time, I think sir's introduction is very difficult to finish in the given time. But still, Dr. Rajesh Dere sir is presently head of the Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology at LTMMC Sion. Sir was dean, and still he is a dean at BKC Jumbo COVID facility and nodal coordinator for all the deans of Jumbo COVID Hospital. Very recently, sir was also elected as a Senate member for MUHS and Board of Studies, and also is a secretary of Medical Legal Association of Maharashtra. Some important awards which sir have received during COVID time, we all have already seen his exemplary work in COVID, for which he was appreciated by Honorable Governor of Maharashtra, Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra, late Srimati Lata Mangeshkar. Then he is also awarded Mahatma Gandhi Samman Award and Atmanirbhar Bharat Award for all his work in COVID. His COVID facility was #1 COVID facility in India and second largest in the world, for which he is holding world record also. He has conducted, as far as forensic medicine is concerned, sir has conducted almost 20,000 medical legal postmortems and 1,600 cases of victims and accused of sexual assault. Also, he has established first one-stop center of survivors of sexual assault in Sion Hospital, Mumbai. He has established state-of-the-art medical legal complex at LTMMC Sion. Also, he is, as a forensic expert, he has assisted government of Maharashtra in many important cases like Taj terror attack case, which everybody is aware of, where he has worked with the international agencies from Israel and France. Also, other important cases like Mahim Blast case, Kamla Mill case, these are important work which he has done as a forensic expert, and is also founder president of Municipal Medical Teachers Association. I welcome you, sir. Sir is going to speak about strategies for prevention of substance abuse through the sports and well-being program. So I'd like to give mic to sir.
Thank you for your kind words, and thank you, Honorable Director Madam Neelam Madam, to give me this opportunity. Undoubtedly, this topic cannot be taken in details in 10 minutes. We'll rush up to important slides, and then during interaction we may discuss the remaining aspect. We'll just take introduction what is substance abuse, because unless and until you know what is an abuse, you can't treat that, and what strategies to be made cannot be done. एक अच्छी कहावत से शुरू करता हूँ मैं. इंडिया में जो कहा जाती है कि कहा जाता है कि विषय पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो होगे नवाब, खेलोगे कूदोगे तो होगे खराब. I think सरांना माहीत असन. This is what is our mentality. जेव्हा आपण आपल्या मुलांनाही शिकवतो, शिक्षण हे नोकरी कोणती चांगली भेटेल किंवा so this is what its mentality we have to change now, and then only we can have. See, substance abuse is undoubtedly a serious problem. I'll just give you a data of 2019, what UN official on drug and abuse has given about Indian government, which Indian government rejected, but I am just projecting how serious problem it is in India of substance abuse. 62.5 million people are taking alcohol or alcohol related liquids. 8.7 million people are taking cannabis or derivatives of cannabis. 0.6 million are taking sedatives and hypnotics in this. What is this? So next, this, it is increasing at an exponential rate. It can occur at any time, any point of in-person lifetime. Youths are always at an increasing risk if you go through the data of this. And we should know why this substance abuse is common amongst youth. Number one, something called as daily stresses are there. What are these daily stresses? I would say nowadays in young generation, stress about family issues. You go in adolescency age, if there are family issues in the family, that stress that young generation will have. Second, educational stress is one of the issues which is more prevalent. Second is to fit in socially. Nowadays, why abuse is used, substance abuse, we can know there are kitty parties and social parties in cosmopolitan life, and this young generation in say higher secondary or graduation, mostly in cosmopolitan, it is now migrating to district areas also. They feel that to fit in socially, we have to be connected with any of this type of substance abuse. Third is to boost energy. Booster energy. Many drugs, I can give you some LSDs. If you take LSD, they feel they are in a picnic trip and something they are in that trip. So since these are the ways, then family histories is there, mental or behavioral health problem is there. Last, this is what has to be emphasized in young, is low self-esteem and feeling of social rejection, feeling of neglect, feeling of social rejection. Nowadays in young generation, in urbanized world, we are moving rapidly towards urbanization now. Nearly more than 20% of our land is urbanized in this country, and maybe in next 15 to 20 years we may target 50% of complete India is urbanized by one mean or the other. Now what are the impact? Just will give drug dependence is there, poor judgment, poor school performance, social or homicidal and sexual offense related activities we have noted. Now social and homicidal tendencies, what we say, one of the substance of abuse or addictive, we all know is a cannabis indica. With a series here we always teach, one of the violent behavior is run amok, in which if you take that and if you're addicted to that, you can just go killing or hitting someone without any motive. So what are sports basically? We'll just rush up through this. It's a physical activity that has been agreed structure and set of rules. This is what we all know what as. Now this is taken in by the previous. Why the yoga benefit is there? One of these is it improves your brain function. And once it improves your brain functions, there is feeling good factor. See, that is good part of sports medicine, what we say. Now next slide will increase. See, whenever we do any physical activity, maybe any type of physical activity, this is a peptide, endorphins, which we say it is a feel-good hormone, is released immediately. It acts on the brainstem, then you will have an effect like a morphine. Morphine is a somniferous drug, which is a drug of abuse taken by many young people to have that sleep-like effect and feeling good effect. So if you do a sports medicine, if you do physical activity, you are naturally getting this effect. So why the young generation should go for using this substance abuse? These are types of sports and choices. One of these is, I'll give an example. If you go through team sports like football, what you are going to develop? You will develop social skills and conflict management, one of the well-being programs. This is what is important now. There are many interventions, what we can do, strategies. We'll only discuss what is important. Number one is intervention at different school level. This I think should be added, sir. Sir is here. आपण काय करू शकता school level program. Why we are saying now in urbanized, if you go to schools from 8th standard itself, you can see many are taking cigarettes, many are using drug of abuse. Now in Mumbai, MD, like you get in Pantapri also. We are well known about this, and it is prevalent in all these states and more in Chandigarh and Punjab like states where it is a havoc. So this intervention we have to do. We have to make sports medicine or sports as a compulsory subject in secondary and higher secondary. Sports should be with a true spirits. Education awareness has to be there. Public awareness is always there, but we have to enhance. What I feel in this, sir, when we go to the public lavatories, this is my practical experience. There you see commonly people having this chilim, ganjas and drug of abuse, and there the banners related to drug of abuse and prevention is not there. We have many other political banners or advertisement banners regarding that, but targeted areas of advertisement is required, sir. We are doing, country is doing a lot, spending a lot, but it should be targeted where it is required. It should not be in that place where it is not required. One of these is this. Then cultural activities, one act plays. I can remember 10 years before we used to do it. मी जेव्हा शाळेत प्रवलर होते तेव्हा आम्ही करत होतो. I don't know. One of the important, diffusion of innovation is a one act play. गावाकडे बाजार असतात तालुका प्लेसला, जिल्ह्याला, आठवड्यातनं एकदा, once in a week सगळे जमा होतात तिथे. You do a 5 minutes one act play regarding information of substance abuse and how to avoid and what are the government policies we are doing. You need not to do much more poster baji and all this, which hardly one reads that banner of 10,000 or 20,000 rupees. So this is where I feel there are ways and means which are cheap, economical. Sports academy has to be there, financial support has to be enhanced. Now see this this promotion of sports by youth icon or public figure. Public figure can be anyone. We are doing it, one or two public figure, they are doing it, but what I feel, sportsmen should come up and give a message regularly on the social media or government platform ki how dreaded this substance abuse is and how to avoid it. And it should be given by this public figure who has millions of followers free of cost in the interest of the society. And it has to be compared. If we as a doctor has a social responsibility towards our states, towards our nation. Why can't this public figure, they earn lakhs and crores because they have millions of followers on their Twitter handle or social media handle. So this can be one of the sports scholarship, inclusion of sports, chapters on sports, periodic screening for substance abuse. I think, sir, you are on this government body. You can convey this to the government of India, the concerned authority or minister. There is no screening of substance abuse in after 8th standard. It has to be there, and it should be free of cost, and it should be a mandatory protocol for every school. जसं आपण बाकीच्या गोष्टी मॅन्डेटरी करतो, इकडे पोस्टर लावा, हे करा, हे अपलोड करा. You do this, automatically you can screen, and high risk adolescent and the young children can be taken from that stream, and we can treat them by counseling or this rehabilitation center and free counseling. Periodic screening and free counseling, if you do in school or adolescency or colleges, my experience, my knowledge, what I have seen, more than 50% of these people can be screened and taken away from use of this substance abuse. No need of spending hundreds of crores on this. Now training of schools is there. Now we will just go through these well-being programs. There is something called as 7 C's of well-being program, which is done in United States of America, and it is a huge success. What are these? Confidence building, competence building, character building, contribution, coping, control. Now what are the benefits of well-being program? What I would stress, wellness program has become a very important part of the corporate world. These are initiatives that are designed to promote healthy living over. Now corporate is doing a very good productive output, we all know. Take any corporate sector, and they have imbibed this wellness program as a part of their work culture, which in government and public agencies I hardly feel. Yesterday only one of my school group has sent a very good video. I will show you if the time permits. Listen you, what way 30 seconds wellness video was released in their corporate world in Pune, and it went viral, and it has created a sense of well-being among all the employees. Relapse prevention, how to prevent drug abuse. 3 main components, will not discuss, time is late. Demand reduction strategies has to be there. Supply reduction strategies has to be there. Third is strategies to mitigate the negative health and social consequence of the drug has to be there. Now these well-being program strategies. Now this is where I found this proverb, and something I added from me also. See, if you understand the reason behind substance abuse, you can cure it. And there is no better cure than prevention. See, this is a dictum of any treatment, I would say. Instead of spending 10 times on treating and giving medicines of thousands of rupees, and the poor people has to search for the monetary fund, which government cannot provide to each and every individual because of resources limitation of this country, this can be one good breather for that. Prevention, strict prohibition on substance abuse. Drug enforcement related agencies should be efficient. They are there undoubtedly, but efficiencies can be there. Amendments in the NDPS Act. I will just tell you why I say amendments. There is an NDPS Act. There is a small quantity and commercial quantity definition. Now small quantity, I will give you one example of cannabis, which is commonly used in this country or Asian countries. They say they're having transportation and possession of 2 grams of cocaine amounts to small quantity. Now if you catch hold of this peddler, drug peddler, and what is the punishment in NDPS Act? 6 months or 10,000 fine. वो तो कोई भी भर देगा. And these drug peddlers, usually from the third nation, Negroes, what they do, they come in groups in hundreds, and they will have 2 grams in their packets. 100 multiplied by 2 is 200 grams in crores. So there something has to be done. This, I think, regularization in advertisement related to drug and substance abuse should be made by Advertising Standard Council of India. See how smart this corporate or the advertisement world is there. I'll give a basic example. मी बऱ्याच वेळेस मागे कधी दिल्लीला 3 वर्ष बोललो होतो. See, as per this Standard Council of India, you cannot directly advertise any drug of abuse, maybe alcohol, maybe cigarettes and all this. Now what these people are doing, one common example, Kingfisher Bisleri soda. What is this? I know Kingfisher, India know Kingfisher is related to alcohol, beer or whatever it can be. Now they have a byway. This should be avoided by this agency. This is indirect marketing of their alcohol products only. Blenders Pride soda. We know what is Blenders Pride. Now they attach only soda and they do open marketing and they are earning in hundreds. Earning is not an issue for our country. Let them earn by a genuine way. What is our issue? Our young generation is being damaged and destroyed. And I know one of the great men has said, no need to have you missiles and biological terrorism. You destroy the youth of any country, that country is destroyed in itself in principle. No need to do anything. So conclusion I will make, participating in regular physical activity and sport is associated with many beneficial outcomes, including developing positive self-identity, communication, assertiveness, stress and anger management, helps in preventing addiction, assistance in recovery and promotion in physical and mental health being. Increase in mood elevating hormones like endorphin helps in preventing depression and substance abuse. Half minute I will just सुना देता हूँ मैं आपको. So just listen. 20 seconds.
Hey, बाकी सब ठीक बस चल रहा है. बाकी सब ठीक बस चल रहा है. बाकी सब ठीक है ना, बस चल रहा है भाई. What about you? हाँ चल रहा है. बाकी सब ठीक बस चल रहा है. बाकी सब ठीक बस चल रहा है. बाकी सब ठीक है ना, हाँ ठीक है. और तेरा बस चल रहा है.
See, this is hardly 20 seconds they have done yesterday. He is one of my schoolmate in corporate world in Pune, IT related only. Say they do this every 15 days. Is in a part of their work culture. Zabardasti nahi hai. It is part of, see, 20 seconds. You distribute in your employees group, they will be elated like anything. तुम्ही त्याला किती antidepressant देऊन तेवढा effect येणार नाही. So thank you very much. Thank you all the
Thank you so much,
all the
Dr.
deans,
Rajesh.
all the delegates.
आपला पण सर मेसेज असाच आहे की किंगफिशर सोडा म्हणजे सोडा म्हणजे सोडून द्या. थँक्यू सो मच.
बोललं असतं तर माझ्यावर त्यांनी डिफेमेशन फाईल केली असते. त्यांचं ऑलरेडी खूप नुकसान झाले एअरलाइन्स बंद होऊन.
And I think we should start with this screening. Even at MBBS level we can do this, because the kind of abuse even we see in medical schools is also too much. So thank you so much, sir, for your nice presentation.
Thank you, Director Madam, once again for your opportunity.
The tea and coffee counters are open round the clock, so if anybody wants to have a cup of tea or coffee, please you can have. It's right outside the auditorium. Our next expert for the day is Dr. Vishwambhar Jadhav, sir.
So before we go on to the next session, I just want to ask the audience that have you played? Yes, sir, please you can start with the setting up your PPT. Whether any one of you have played Hututu, Surfata, Chirchir Ghodi, Kho. How many of you have walked up to your school? Please raise your hand. And never took a bus or something. Thank you so much. So the next speaker, Dr. Vishwambar Jadhav, who is going to speak about promotion of indigenous sports, is assistant professor in Department of Physical Education in University of Mumbai, and he has been working on it. And it's a very interesting topic and something which we are forgetting, our own sports of our own country. So over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. On the screen. Projector banda hai, screen on. Respected all the dignitary on the dais, of the dais, doctors, deans, and my dear friends. At the outset, I'd like to thank this organizing committee members. Special thanks for Neelam madam, Adesh, my friend, and also Kranti Sagar More. My topic is promotion of indigenous sports. When we are talking about sports, so if you see the alphabet of sports, S-P-O-R-T-S, S stand for sincerity, P stand for punctuality, O stand for obedient, and T stand for tactful, and S stand for overall sincerity regarding your sports. Just introspect yourself. Are you really doing sports, exercises? The answer will be, you only give, I will not give. Half, no issue. But before start this PPT, please everyone stand up, because I know last session and post session is very difficult to manage any speaker. So shall we start and we'll do some exercise and we'll start this. Please everyone stand up. आणि जसा तुम्हाला व्यायाम तुमच्या आयुष्यात करता येतो तसा करा. जरा अंग हलवा, जरा तुमच्या पद्धतीने. मला माहिती आहे, कारण ते येस यू कॅन डान्स सर. आयुष्यात नाचणं तर सगळ्यात मोठा आनंद आहे जीवनात. रिक्रिएशन घेणं, फन घेणं हे सगळ्यात आनंद आहे. फक्त जोरात म्हणायचं आहे आ. बस बसा आता. ट्रू ट्रू सर, तुम्ही खेळाडू आहात मला माहिती आहे. आणि मला आता टेन्शन आहे, तुम्ही माझा अर्धा टॉपिक कव्हर केलाय, पण आता मला वेगळं चॅलेंज आहे. ठीक आहे, हरकत नाही. आम्ही स्पोर्ट्सवाले आहेत आणि चॅलेंजेस ऑलवेज ॲक्सेप्टेड. ओके, विल स्टार्ट विथ द indigenous games are recreational activities that originated from particular group, community or people. हे तुम्हाला गुगलमध्येही मिळेल, मी काही वेगळं दिलेलं नाही. परंतु हे समजणं फार महत्त्वाचं की स्वदेशी खेळ काय आहेत आणि स्वदेशी खेळामधून तुम्हाला मिळणारा आनंद. व्हॉट यू आर गेटिंग फन. रिक्रिएशन इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. यू कॅन प्ले हिअर ऑल्सो, वी कॅन सिट हिअर, वी कॅन प्ले द गेम ऑल्सो, अँड यू कॅन रिक्रिएट युअर सेल्फ. अँड नाव इट इज डेज इन कॉर्पोरेट, इन एनीवेअर, in industries also, they are forgotten to do recreation yourself. As when we are talking about indigenous sports promotion, don't forget the indigenous fitness development exercise also very important when you are talking about this. And as everyone know, the government of India started 75 crore Surya Namaskar activity, which is all over India. सूर्य नमस्कार, दंड एंड बैठक, सिटअप्स एंड पुशअप्स. आता एक फैड आला है मार्केट में, बहुत बड़ा फैड है. जिम में जाना है, एक्सरसाइज करना है, 10,000 15,000 खर्चा करने के लिए पैसे हैं हमारे पास. पर तो हम लोग ये चीज़ सोचते नहीं है कि हमारे स्वदेश में ही ये सब चीज़ें हैं. पर हमको आदत गिरी तलवल कर, मैं नाम नहीं ले रहा हूँ पर लेना पड़ेगा, कुछ ये ऐसे जिम्स है जो हमको अट्रैक्ट करती है. बट we never think about our indigenous developmental fitness exercise which is there in our literature. मगाशी मॅडमनी पण सांगितलं, योगामध्ये सर्व काही आहे, ते आपण विसरलेलो आहोत. हे परत रिकॉल करण्याची आता वेळ आलेली आहे. आणि ही वेळ, फ्रॉम दिस प्लॅटफॉर्म, इट्स अ व्हेरी गोल्डन ऑपॉर्च्युनिटी टू प्रमोट such indigenous sports as well as fitness developmental exercises. Indigenous sports of India, as everyone know, kabaddi, archery, kho-kho, balkham, langdi, lagori, kushti. If you see, through indigenous sports, the man who, if you see the Khashaba Jadhav, he is फ्रॉम कोल्हापूर. ही इज अ कुस्ती पैलवान. मला एक्झाम्पल हेच सांगायचं आहे की एका इंडिजिनियस स्पोर्ट्समधनं जो माणूस हेलेन्सिकी सारख्या ऑलिम्पिकमध्ये गेलेला आहे, टाळ्या झाल्या पाहिजे त्यांच्यासाठी जोरदार. ज्याला ब्रॉन्झ मेडल मिळालेलं आहे, मी टाळ्या जबरदस्ती नाही म्हणत, तुमच्या मनापासून वाजवा. हाऊ टू प्रमोट इंडिजिनियस स्पोर्ट्स. टू कंडक्ट special training program for development and promotion of traditional sports rests primarily with the respective states, union territory, government. Even though you can do the central government as well as state government through seminars, conferences, workshops, even NGO, and through infrastructure also. The very important, the role of minor games, lead-up games, and the recreational aspects. See, if you want to bring the indigenous sports in the market through very fastly, so you should understand the role of minor game. Do you remember your childhood age? We play the game. आपण खूप प्रकारचे खेळ खेळले, लपाछुपी, लगोरी. हे सगळे खेळ सुद्धा तुमचे HRPF म्हणजे हेल्थ रिलेटेड फिटनेस डेव्हलप करणारे होते, SRPF स्किल रिलेटेड फिटनेस डेव्हलप करणारे होते. परंतु आज आपण लॉकडाऊनमध्ये सुद्धा पाहिलं आहे, कित्येक वेळा आपण मुलांनी घरात कोणत्याच प्रकारचे व्यायाम केले, आणि ह्याला कारण हेच होतं की आपण कधी रोल ऑफ मायनर गेम समजलाच नाही. हे जर तुम्हाला सगळ्यांना माहिती असतं तर आज ज्या यूथला किंवा आज ज्या मुलांना, ज्या शाळेत स्कूल गोईंग चिल्ड्रनला हे जे प्रॉब्लेम्स होत आहेत त्याचं मूळ कारण आहे की आपण आपल्या लहानपणीचे खेळच विसरून गेलो होतो. हे तुम्हाला घरी सुद्धा लॉकडाऊनमध्ये करता आले असते, पण आपण केलं नाही. आम्ही फक्त आणि फक्त जाहिराती बघत होतो, कोविडची संख्या किती वाढते ते बघत होतो, किती पेशंट वाढले ते बघत होतो, पण कोणीही स्वतःचा आनंद, तर रिक्रिएशनला घरी तुम्ही स्वतः पण कुकिंग शिकू शकला असं, लॉकडाऊनमध्ये खूप काही करता आलं असतं. तुम्हाला स्वतःची लायब्ररी डेव्हलप करता आली असते. देर आर सेव्हरल आस्पेक्ट यू कॅन डू विथ दिस, पण तरीसुद्धा आपण स्ट्रेस ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टीला स्वतःहून उडवून घेतलेलं आहे. हे मी मुद्दा म्हणून तुम्हाला दाखवतोय, दॅट इज प्रमोशन. ही स्पोर्ट्स नर्सरी महाराष्ट्र शासनाच्या एका IAS ऑफिसरने आणली होती, परंतु प्रॉब्लेम असा झाला की आपल्याकडे एक प्रॉब्लेम आहे की इमिजिएटली आपण कोणतीच गोष्ट ॲडॉप्ट करत नाही. दॅट इज अ बिग ह्यूज प्रॉब्लेम विथ अस. दॅट पर्सन मिस्टर गोपालन रेड्डी, ही इज ब्रिंग दिस कन्सेप्ट फ्रॉम चायना. वाय? बिकॉज इवन इंडिया ऑल्सो दे हॅव देअर ओन इंडिजिनियस स्पोर्ट्स. यू नो, आता वेस्टर्न कंट्री दे आर अडॉप्टिंग आवर गेम्स. यू नो, मी आता अमेरिकेला हार्वर्ड युनिव्हर्सिटीला माझा एक पेपर प्रेझेंट करायला गेलो होतो. वेन आय व्हिजिटेड द सेव्हरल एरियाज, आय सॉ योगा तिथे अडॉप्टेड आहे, योगा चालू आहे, योगाचं स्पेशल टीचर्स आहेत. इव्हन रिसेंटली मी फडणवीस साहेबांबरोबर आम्ही गेलो होतो रशियाला, तर रशियाला सुद्धा मॉस्कोमध्ये सुद्धा योगिक एक्सरसाइज अँड योगिक म्हणजे आपले इंडिजिनियस फिटनेस डेव्हलपमेंटल एक्सरसाइज गेम्स तिथे करतात लोक, पण आमच्याकडे अजूनही ह्याचा अवेअरनेस नाही आहे. असो, पण महाराष्ट्र शासनाने हे आणलं होतं. त्याचा एक मी स्वतः त्याचा एक मी 40 शाळांमध्ये हा चालवले होतं त्यावेळी हा इंडिजिनियस स्पोर्ट्स नर्सरी. पण तुम्हाला कालांतराने रिसर्चकडे जावं लागल्यामुळे मी पुढे गेलो. पण आजही ही माझी एक मोमेंट आहे. थ्रू आदेश ऑल्सो आय एक्सप्लेन अबाउट दिस एव्हरीथिंग की वी कॅन डू दिस. वी कॅन सोशलाइज द स्टुडंट्स थ्रू दिस टाईप ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स. वी कॅन स्टार्ट द स्टार्टअप विथ आवर इंडिजिनियस गेम्स. मग अशी म्हणालो, कोविडच्या काळामध्ये आपण इम्युनिटी बुस्टर सगळं आयुष्य डस्टर झालं, पण काय प्रॉब्लेम नाही. फिजिकली ॲक्टिव्हिटी, मेंटल इश्यूज, इवन स्कूल आणि कॉलेजला सगळ्यात जास्त जो त्रास झाला ह्या प्रॉब्लेम. आजही मला खूपशा शाळेतनं फोन येतात की सर मुलांना शाळेत यायचं नाही आहे, काय करावं लागेल. म्हणजे प्रॉब्लेम आहे, खूप मोठा प्रॉब्लेम. म्हणून सांगतो, शाळेमध्ये सुद्धा मी हेच सजेशन दिलं आहे, फिजिकल एज्युकेशन थ्रू एज्युकेशन करा, देन इट विल वर्क. अँड स्टार्ट इंडिजिनियस स्पोर्ट्स, इंडिजिनियस एक्सरसाइज इन स्कूल्स राईट नाव. अँड some schools they are started, some college also started this activity. Now, how to save the youth life, importance of yogic practices, as already speakers are already talk about this, so I will not go in depth. Sports of indigenous sports values सांगायला पाहिजे, importance of indigenous exercises, as well as the very important detox, that is avoid the mobile phone. आजही तुम्ही सगळ्यांचे चॅट बघा, तुमचे किती असतील, स्वतःच इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करा की लास्ट चॅट आपला काय आहे शेवटचा. तर आजच्या ज्या यूथला जे सगळ्यात जे कोणी ग्रासलं असेल ते हा मोबाईलनी ग्रासलेलं. आता या हॉलमध्ये पण खूपशे लोक मला न बघता खाली मोबाईलमध्ये पण बघतात, तर तो एक प्रॉब्लेम आहे लाईफमध्ये, हे लक्षात ठेवा. दिस इज एव्हरीवन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. रोल ऑफ PE टीचर्स, role of various sports coaches as well as club, association, federation, NGOs, everyone's, not only these people, all those who are sitting in the auditorium. The very important, because I'm here coming here with my selfish motto. Let me clear about this. Why? Because here the BMC officers are coming here. I don't know but whether there are 2-3 people are there, but not still the additional commissioner is not. Why you should use the Mumbai Mahanagar Palika's gardens? We are giving for all the Brahmo Kumaris, but not given for such type of physical activity. Every garden should be give this type of activity, so we can through this we can start our indigenous sports in that particular gardens. We can start the sports nursery rapidly, and we can save the youth life. And that is why this sports nursery started from pre-primary student, from nursery to still your youth, because the sports nursery is related to your HRPF as well as your SRPF. So BMC garden uses are very important. So I request all the BMC officers, those who are sitting here, please try to understand this problem. This is a one moment. This moment should be converted in the startups. And this is everyone. Sorry. Let's everyone come together and promote indigenous sports and exercise. Last but not least, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vidyan. जो लास्ट का स्टेटमेंट जो मैंने खुद कोट किया है, इसका कारण यही है, अगर आपको डॉक्टर बनना है, आपको इंजीनियर बनना है, आपको मॉडरेटर बनना है, आपको अच्छा ऑडियंस बनना है, अच्छा जवान बनना है, अच्छा किसान को बनाना है, तो सबसे पहले शारीरिक शिक्षण इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो जय जवान, जय किसान, जय विज्ञान एंड जय शारीरिक शिक्षण. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think he is the first speaker who has finished well before time. So like every sports activity has time limit. He has kept that at 1 minute. He saved 9 minutes. He has finished his talk. Nice talk, sir. I think ज्या खेळांचा इम्पॉर्टन्स सरांनी ज्या पद्धतीने सांगितलेला, सर ज्या पद्धतीने म्हणतात की नर्सरीत खरंच तसं चालू झालं पाहिजे. कारण आजच्या मुलांना तुम्ही आजही बिल्डिंग खाली गेल्यानंतर ट्राय करा, त्यांना हुतुतू, लपंडाव, आंधळी कोशिंबीर, त्याच्यानंतर पकडापकडी, लंगडी हे खेळ खेळून दाखवा. खरंच त्यांना ते खेळ आवडतात. कारण ते मुलं फुटबॉल खेळतात, हॉकी खेळतात, क्रिकेट खेळतात, पण सगळं मोबाईलच्या एका बटनावर खेळतात. ते बटन प्रेस केलं तर चेसची मुवमेंट होते, ते बटन प्रेस केलं की कॅरमचा स्ट्रायकर मूव्ह होतो. त्यामुळे ते खेळतायत भरपूर, पण सगळं मोबाईलवर खेळतात. तेच बाहेर काढून जर का त्यांना इंडोर गेम्स आणि आउटडोअर गेम्स आपण खेळून दाखवले तर डेफिनेटली इम्प्रूव्हमेंट होईल. सरांसारखे प्रशिक्षित लोक आपल्या शाळांमध्ये आहेतच. स्टार्टअपसाठी सरांनी मला वाटतं एक फार छान आयडिया दिलेली आहे की आपल्या BMCचे जे काही गार्डन्स आहेत, मॉर्निंग टाइम्स जर का आपण अशा काही ॲक्टिव्हिटीजसाठी ते वापरले आणि आपल्या महानगरपालिकेच्या शाळेतल्या मुलांना इन्व्हॉल्व करून सुरुवात केली आणि सेम थिंग कॅन बी कन्वर्टेड इन टू अ बिझनेस, देन डेफिनेटली मॅडम इज द बेस्ट पर्सन टू नो दॅट. बट आय थिंक खूप छान आयडिया दिलेली आहे सर. सो ओव्हरऑल खूप छान टॉक होता सर तुमचा. थँक्यू.
I now request Anurade ma'am to kindly give the certificates to the chairpersons. Yes, ma'am. After this. Logo, okay.
ब्लँक दबा के जा.
मागे हे आहे ना बॅनर. I request all the experts for the session to come ahead for a group photo with ma'am. I request Shashibala ma'am to come ahead as well. Take the standee. We'll be starting the brainstorming session in the next 2 minutes. If anybody wants a cup of tea or coffee, please help yourselves. I request all the delegates to please be seated. We are starting the session immediately. Please join in for the brainstorming session. This is an interactive session and you all are going to really enjoy the session. The panelists have put in a lot of effort, so requesting all the delegates to please be seated. I call upon the panelists for the brainstorming session, Dr. Pranav Chikkanmane, Dr. Santosh Kondekar, Dr. Ketki Utpat, Dr. Gaurav Surana, Dr. Jay Churasama, Srimati Manisha Sarda, and Mr. Anirban Chatterjee. The moderator for the session is Dr. Paul Mathai. और कुछ बोलूं? I request all the panelists to kindly take their seats.
Hello, check.
Requesting all the delegates to kindly be seated. We are starting the session.
Hello.
Delegates, kindly take your seats so that we can start the session. Miss. Okay. Yeah, I'll give them the. So our panelists for today are Dr. Pranav Chikkarmane, Dr. Santosh Kondekar, Dr. Ketki Utpat, Dr. Gaurav Surana, Dr. Jayesh Chudasama, Srimati Manisha Sarda, Mr. Anirban Chatterjee. The moderator for the session is Dr. Paul Mathai.
So, a very good afternoon to everybody in the audience. My name is Dr. Paul Mathai. I'm a maxillofacial surgeon. I've passed out from Nair. There's a prosthetic limb designing in place. There is our chest medicine department is also evaluating a Bluetooth stethoscope. We've got a smart spirometry device that is being looked into. We've got oral cancer screening tools that are being developed for better evaluation and faster evaluation in all our distant communities, right? And all of this is going to help improve our healthcare outcomes, right? And bring about general well-being of our population, right? So before we begin this topic, it's important to understand what's the new definition of health. I've had a very big discussion with our panelists already, and they feel that health is not just an absence of disease. It is not only physical health, it is mental health, spiritual health, and financial health as well, right? So all of these things, and you might have realized that all of these topics were also covered by our speakers in the prior lectures in some form or the other. They were all touched upon, right? And so what we are looking towards healthcare startups for is to tackle the problems that we face in these areas. It shouldn't only be diagnosing diseases, it should be prevention of diseases as well, right? Starting right from a young age, going to older ages. Okay, so let me first start off with our first panelist today, right? Dr. Ketki ma'am. She works in the chest medicine respiratory medicine department. So ma'am, you've been using the Bluetooth stethoscope. What can this is one of the healthcare startups that you're working on. So what is your feedback regarding the device? How do you like it? What do you think can be improved upon? Can you give us a few pointers? Okay, ma'am, thank you so much. And I completely agree that the device must have genuinely improved your ability to deliver quality care to the patient, right? And also, most importantly, a very good teaching tool for youngsters, because every time I've noticed my seniors are always hearing something else on the stethoscope, and I'm hearing something else on the stethoscope. So I'm 100% sure that this improves education as well. Okay, ma'am. So you were also talking about how important it is to reduce some amount of the workload that is there on the healthcare staff that in counseling patients, right? So what potential problem do you think a healthcare startup can look at to reduce this kind of workload, ma'am?
Yes, definitely. Now, be it any disease, be it infectious disease like tuberculosis or pneumonia, or non-infectious allergic diseases like bronchial asthma, or sometimes grave diseases like lung cancer. Counseling forms a very, very vital element of the treatment. And I must say, a patient well counseled is a battle against the disease more than half won. And amidst our heavy OPDs and crowded OPDs, sometimes it is very difficult humanly to allocate time for counseling for all patients. So if we could use healthcare startups in patient counseling in various forms, for example, if we can keep a counselor, or sometimes also audio visuals can be made. For example, displaying of audio visual messages on the patient's screen outside in the waiting area. For example, some simple things. For example, in tuberculosis, that it is a curable disease. Not that all forms of tuberculosis are infectious. It is only the pulmonary disease which is infectious. Or for example, in bronchial asthma, there are many myths about the condition, that inhaler leads to addiction. Also, there is lot of ambiguity in the technique of using the inhalers. So if healthcare startups can help us in creating audio visuals for counseling for these conditions, it will be of huge help. So healthcare startups can serve as a blessing in the form of creating various audio visuals. And also, one more suggestion which I would like to say is, sometimes there are many patients who are lost to follow, and humanly it is not difficult to track the patients. So if a healthcare startup can help us with a technology or an app which can help in following up our patients, that will also be a very good blessing.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So we are moving on to our next panelist, Dr. Santosh sir, who works in the Department of Pediatrics. He's an associate professor. So sir had some very interesting ideas, right? And I'm just going to highlight them. Sir is going to elaborate them. Sir feels that healthcare startups should help us create healthcare kiosks all across public spaces, wherein patients or any normal citizen could possibly go and get themselves roughly evaluated to understand whether or not they require further medical checkup or more medical investigations. And also sir also creation of self-screening tools and also personality development. Sir, can you just tell us a few things, please? Sir, the mic, sir, mic.
And for that, what is most important is that we should come to know ahead of time whether they are going to suffer from a problem which can be anticipated ahead of time. So accordingly, each specialty of the medicine may have 50 different diseases, and each one can be screened with simple screening questions, which a person just waiting at a bus stop also can find out, okay, fine, I am having cough, whether it is really serious or not, I am having fever, whether I should go to a doctor or not, shall I take the paracetamol, what is the dose of it, or maybe whether what I am thinking is sound or not, whether I should really visit a psychiatrist, I am facing the stress, what to do. There should be some algorithm which can be made to each and every specialty. And that can help people who are waiting in the queue, in the hospitals, at the bus stop, at the railway station, wherever, just not wasting time, but utilizing them for their social, emotional, and vital health, well-being of the person. And as I had already said, that it's not only the absence of disease which you want to tackle, it's the presence of a good well-being, making every child, every person a responsible citizen in the making. And that can be incorporated, having such similar personality building, small kiosks, even in the schools, where a child should say, okay, fine, that person was kicking me, what should I do? Shall I tell the principal? Shall I tell my mom? Shall I hit it? So there may be some options which even every person working in that field may be able to give some inputs. And that's what I mean, that information is key for good understanding, good behavior, good communication, and prevention of each and everything. It's not only about health, it's about building a better personality towards national well-being.
Thank you very much, sir. So definitely it's a very challenging problem that sir has put forth, tackling the problem right at the root, right? Educating our youngsters regarding, to differentiate between right and wrong, what self-care practices are there, right? So that we have an overall healthier population in the long term.
I have a small suggestion to Director Ma'am. I go through a personal situation when I had one of my relatives admitted in the hospital. So my sincere request was to create
who's our AMO and also a consultant in the rheumatology clinic at Nair Hospital. Sir is going to be talking about the HMIMS system and all the advantages that are there and all the additional features that he hopes to incorporate ahead into the software as well. Sir, please. Sir, one second.
The hospital management information system, that is HMIS, was implemented initially on a pilot basis at BYL Nair Charitable Hospital in the month of June 2018. And it is a cloud-based application, and the aim is to integrate the patient data across all MCGM facilities. So a unique feature of this is at the time of the registration, which is a one-time process, the patient will be given a unique ID, that is a UHID. And using that UHID, it will facilitate the identification and tracking the patient across all MCGM health facilities. And this system is a boon to everyone, that is the patient, the clinician, the other hospital personnel, as well as hospital administrators. Other than means the main benefit of this is easy accessibility of the patient data, as I mentioned earlier. Along with that, it reduces the turnaround time for various processes, which includes registration, OPD consultation, diagnostic investigations, and also admission. And this will also help in crowd management. Besides, the HMIS has also incorporated electronic queue management system to facilitate better coordination in the outpatient department. Another important benefit of this is the instant availability of reports. The lab reports as well as the radiological images are instantly available to the clinician who orders the investigation on screen. And this is facilitated by the use of PACS, that is the picture archiving and communication system, and the integration of the lab equipment with HMIS. So that will help in instant availability of the reports, which will quicken the diagnostic process. Other than that, it has other benefits such as it increases the efficiency. There is a reduced scope of errors, and it is a paperless system. It is a cost-effective system.
Right, sir. Thank you so much. So I think some interesting points that we can look for our healthcare digital software that we are using right now. Probably, if all our hospitals were sharing a common database in the near future, maybe if a patient moves from one place to the other, that those records and all could be shared, which would save a lot of time in additional investigations and retaking the history. Apart from that, I think we've all been talking, we already had a lecture on digital health infrastructure, right? And I think we've also seen a lot of TV sessions on unified healthcare, wherein all the healthcare in the country, they're trying to create a common platform wherein all hospitals might try to upload it. So no matter where you go, right, all your critical information, recent investigations are available to your doctors, and it would really help saving time and resources. And I think the most important thing is we want to be able to use this software to perform epidemiological studies. We should be able to identify where particular conditions are prevalent. We should be able to identify health groups that are being affected, right? So this can all help us not only conduct research but also improve patient outcomes. At the end of the day, that's what we are looking for, right? Okay, so then we are now moving on to our next panelist, Dr. Gaurav Surana, who's an assistant professor in the Department of Cardiology at Nair Medical Hospital, and he has got a lot of bright and a lot of interesting ideas that he's going to share with us. So, sir, please tell us a few of your thoughts regarding what solutions healthcare startups can take up in your field.
Good afternoon, everyone. As sir and ma'am have already pointed out that we need in our HMI system, we need to incorporate some things like prevention methods, which will be written in the language understood by the patient. Preventive methods which are common, like in cardiology is printed in a way which he won't understand, which she won't understand. So I want that our HMI system should incorporate a language proper or in a more conducive language which is understandable by patients and their relatives. The second thing which I want in our startups basically is like digital stethoscope is already in process, and handheld echo, which is already there in UK, US based companies, but we are still not having any. Portable ecos are have just come up in VNC. We have one portable eco which has recently been established in Nair, but we need handheld ecos. So in the case of emergency, when I have been called to an OT to look a patient, to give my opinion, I can give my more exact opinion on based on an handheld echo finding. It may not be an accurate thing. It would be like 10% plus minus, but in an emergency situation that can really be helpful to save a life, like a case of cardiac tamponade, like an evolving heart attack or MI patient. If I can diagnose it on the basis of an handheld echo or portable ECG machine, which are now everywhere, but handheld echo is still a remote possibility, I think. Another new devices which we all know about are Apple Watches. Everyone would have said, but I don't want to take any particular company's name. There are other devices also like Fitbit. Fitbit, Apple Watches, they can be used by us to monitor a patient's rhythm, cardiac rhythm, especially the patients who are having pacemakers or ICD. What is their rhythm? What is their rate? And studies have already been done in UK, which has showed that they have just a mean difference of 1.8 beats per minute to our present day standards of a 24-hour ECG machine monitoring. So just 1.8 beats per minute, if they are giving us variability, it is acceptable, I guess. Guidelines have not yet been established about them, but they are routinely being used to follow up, to keep a follow-up of patients, which would be helpful in our setting. Next, I wanted to say, like monitoring of cholesterol. Everybody over here, do they know what is the age limit when we should check our cholesterol levels? What is the age limit? At what age we should check our cholesterol levels? Basic cholesterol. So your guidelines say that at 20 years of age, at least you should have one cholesterol level, and if there is a family history, it can be even earlier. So 20 years of age, if cholesterol monitoring is to be done of a patient already suffering from an MI, I have to counsel him or her about maintaining his cholesterol level to a limit, bad cholesterol to a limit, good cholesterol to a limit. But this testing is still not done that rampantly which it should be done. It should be incorporated into a school practice or college, I should say. It should be done when we are taking admission in an MBBS. An MBBS guy, if he is entering into a medical field, he is we are liable that he should know his cholesterol level, basic cholesterol level, and we should act promptly and at an early stage. Next idea is the person who is already hypercholesterolemic or hyperlipidemic. In those, now in UK there is a concept called smart contact lens, and contact lens which can measure a cholesterol level in your teardrop. Just a contact lens which can give you an near accurate answer to your blood cholesterol level. I can say with authority that near accurate level is what we need. We don't want accurate levels for everyone. Plus minus 10 is acceptable in every aspect, I guess. But that will give us a fair idea that our drugs which we are giving, whether we need to escalate or de-escalate those drugs, whether that patient needs more frequent follow-up or whether he needs to be added on newer anti-lipidemic drugs which are there. So these are few startup ideas which I would like to suggest from cardiology.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. So we learned a lot of interesting ideas, a lot of interesting fields.
The biggest challenge with all the startups is the sustainability, flexibility, and revisability. After 2-3 years, we do not find anybody who's there to correct them. If you need to make some changes or something, then it's lost. Especially in the BMC, after 3-5 years, we do not get into that. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So I think one common theme that we've had till now is that a lot of our healthcare practitioners, we want tools that are good at screening, fast screening. We just want rough values, right? That will help get our patients the right treatment at the right time. We are not looking for extreme accuracy, which is only possible with something very, very large and very bulky, right? But screening tools and imaging analysis, right? These are the things that all of us are looking for to reduce workload and get our patients the right treatment at the right time. Okay, so moving on to our next panelist, Dr. Jay Chudasama, who is a senior resident in the Department of Gastroenterology at Nair Medical Hospital. So, sir, what are your views on potential ideas for healthcare startups?
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to point out on very important topic, which is clinical research, which is very important for clinical medicine. As we all know that whatever we are getting the treatment, whatever we are following the diagnostic protocol, it is based on some recommendations, some guidelines. And most of these recommendations, most of these guidelines are coming from the US or UK based clinical setup. So why it is not coming from India? Major drawback of Indian medical system is that we don't have that type of medical record system. In US, in UK medical hospitals, they have some system that when patient comes, all the data, all the values, all the age, or like from beginning of the birth of the patient, from the death of the patient, all is fed in the computer, and it is trackable till the death of the patient. So whenever someone wants to research, someone wants to publish something, someone wants to make some guidelines, they can track it from that computer only, from that one click only. In India, we have to call the patient, we have to extract the information by calling the patient, by some records, and on paper records we can't keep the record most of the 10 years, 20 years, and before that we cannot have that type of records. And by calling the patients, it is very troublesome and worrisome, because most of the patients don't have WhatsApp. Most of the patients are very poor, so they cannot send the reports on the mobile phone or on computer. So in India, in our healthcare system, we are not doing that type of clinical research that frequently, so we are not making that type of guidelines compared to the US or UK. It is not that we are not capable, but we are lagging behind in this type of medical database system. So we can incorporate this medical data management system in our day-to-day practice and in our healthcare system. So we can come up with this type of guideline, and we can make the better guidelines than US and UK. We believe we can, but we have this type of limitations. But we can. We have the potential. We have the potential. Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jay. And I absolutely agree, because I think guidelines should be tailored to our population. We are always following the guidelines given by the West.
Most of the guidelines are depending on the Western population.
Exactly,
the ethnicity
right?
is different, the race is different, but we are following in our patients. Just because we are not doing that type of research.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Jay. So we are moving on. So our last two panelists, both of them are Smile incubated startups, and we are so happy to have feedback from the other side of the board, right? So we have Manisha ma'am, who is the marketing head for SASCAN Meditech, which is currently developing an oral cancer screening tool. So ma'am, first question to you is, can you roughly tell us what your device is doing, and where do you feel it's going to be helpful, right? And another very important question is, what are the stages of a healthcare startup, and where you are right now, and where can we expect you to reach the end of the race? How much more time for that?
Thank you, Dr. Paul, and thank you all dignitaries here to make a startup come and talk and tell you about our stories and the back end. So I was in the discussion which was happening at the back end and understanding the problems which a medical fraternity is facing is important for a startup to start the ideation. So I will say that when they were talking about the problems they were facing, that is where the ideation for a startup starts. The technology intervention can start from there. So that is how we call the phygital world. That is the physically problems are available and digitally or technologically we can solve the problems. That is where the intervention happens and a new startup or a new technology is developed, and that is how we as a company have started. So I'll take 1 minute to tell you how oral scan has developed. Dr. Narayanan, who is the brain behind oral scan, he was looking to find a solution for his ailing mother who was wrongly treated for cancer, who was given chemotherapies, etc. And that is where this oral cancer product came into existence. And the whole product was developed to serve the society, and it never was meant for any business, etc. But yes, for the larger help of the society, we have to make it a business and make it available to everywhere. Just to take this topic ahead, there are a lot of challenges as a startup we also face from the back end. See, any product to get developed, it takes good to 3 to 5 years of a time, because then the ideation, the problem, the challenges in the market, the problem which actually the doctors face while doing the medication or the treatment of the patient. But we went further behind and understood what is the method, why cancer or such NCD disease are coming into existence, and what is the kind of percentage. So as per WHO, there is 60% of death which are responsible due to NCD treatment, NCD's problems, etc. So these kind of devices which we have developed as preventive measures are cancer screening devices. So oral cancer device which we have developed works as a preventive measure, where we want all the patients who are coming to the OPDs to be screened with any kind of habits, or asymptomatic patients or some habits to be screened at a very basic level. I would like to tell you that yesterday on the No Tobacco Day, that is 31st May, we were doing a camp in a district hospital. We screened approximately 50 odd patients. 20% of the patients we found in the category of yellow or on the verge of getting into malignancy or those lesions. And the doctors or the dentists, they were so happy to understand that yes, I would have just considered this as a ulcer or something, but with the help of these kind of machines, which is helping us to understand these are not normal ulcers, but beyond, and where they will go for biopsy and start treating. So these kind of machines help into the early diagnostic or the prevention step, where instead of taking much time of the doctor and putting them for the quality patient treatment, these kind of devices can be used by a paramedic or such trained staff to do the screening and bring the quality patients to the doctors to do the treatment part. Some challenges which a startup face is like, yes, we take 3 to 5 years to develop these products. Intellects like IITians, etc., put their with a set of people, put time into developing such products. Government supports us with a lot of funds, but does the fund solve problem? If the government give me 30 lakh, 50 lakh as a grant, but what we want as a startup is these products has to be utilized in the concerned hospitals, the concerned doctors, where they can again further guide us to develop these kind of innovative products and take it to the larger bottom of the pyramid it should be reaching, so that these kind of products can help a lot of people to get screened. Mass screening can only help to downstage a lot of diseases. And so we want the government to help us to take these products into consideration, put us to some hospitals and say, okay, you use these devices under these doctors, use this, increase the number of screening, and let us understand whether what kind of clinical trials have happened, what kind of improvement in the products are required, etc. Just happy to announce here also, like on this technical day, Department of Science and Technology has awarded Saskin as the best technology product of the year in India, and they have also awarded us with best startup of the year also. This product took 3 years to get developed, and it got developed in Kerala Cancer Research Institute. And I will take this opportunity with permission of Madam Shashibala Madam and Andrade Madam. We will be taking up this study in BMC also on the larger multiple hospitals to understand and screen 50,000 plus patients if given an opportunity. I would just also explain one fundamental law which happens when a startup goes. Everybody knows the Moore's law. What Moore's law says is, once the product is developed with the kind of 3 to 5 years, intellects working on it, developing the product with multiple clinical trials across the globe. So it has a lot of investments which has happened. So what happens, initially the product goes into a very high price category, but to bring it into affordable or that kind of a category, it has to be used by masses. Only then the whole ecosystem works. And that is where all these startups, which somebody just mentioned, 3 to 5 years, they die their own death. This is because of that reason. Because of the initial pricing or the non-support or the acceptance by the doctors or the fraternities in the whole system to understand whether this product is available and can be used. This product can see, and many such products can see, a beautiful innovation into medical sciences and make medical science more affordable, achievable, accessible at the point of care. And that is how all the technical persons should be helped. I would also like to take one, if you permit and time permits, I would like to take one more example, an initiation by UP government. This is a bit offbeat example which I'll be taking. There is a production of black rice which happened in UP, and it's a very nutritious and very healthy rice used for a lot of NCD problems. It can be helped, etc. UP government has taken an initiative. The government has taken an initiative for the farmers there. They have created this market internationally also. Back end, they have asked the farmers to grow this rice. They have branded this rice. They have made it into a brand. And now they are creating an international market. The government has taken an initiative to create an international market for these products, bring those delegates to India, see the production. And now there is a huge big market for this black rice in the form of called Buddha rice, or other names have been given. So just a small initiative by the government to help the farmers there to cultivate this rice, which has been our traditional rice for long, and find the right market, brand it, and make it a good. So the whole ecosystem has been created by the government, and the whole thing has been taken into an international forum. So my only request here will be like, these kind of products need platforms. These kind of products need support system from the medical fraternity, and then only these kind of product can see a long journey and a very good innovation, disruptive innovation coming into the medical fraternity. I am really happy to tell you guys that Smile, Dr. Madam Shashibala, and they have been very supportive. They have understood where we come from, how the product needs to be developed. They have guided us how this product needs to be implemented, how the clinical trial studies has to happen, and the whole Smile team is helping us to create a complete ecosystem for this product so that we can see a long-term journey for Saskin.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
So,
originally, yeah, it is Manipur, but Yogi government has initiated and taken this opportunity. Yes, you're right, sir.
So one very interesting point about their devices, that previous generations of devices always left it to personal interpretation, right? And diagnosing, everybody knows, diagnosing a pre-malignant lesion in any part of the body is difficult as it is, right? So their product goes a step ahead, has incorporated artificial intelligence and machine learning to basically help also educate the doctor as to whether their diagnosis is headed in the right direction. if it's in the wrong direction, then at least do a biopsy and make sure that this patient is fine and it's and can be monitored or requires additional surgical care. Okay, so then moving on to our last speaker for today, Dr. Anirban Chatterjee. He's the founder of Haystack Analytics, and they have been dealing with treatment for tuberculosis, and I think they also came up with some innovative COVID screening device, and a very remarkable initiative by them. I think one of their products is able to diagnose around 18 antibiotics to help basically personalize the treatment plan for patients who have TB. So sir wants to share some interesting information.
The reason I decided I want to show is because I kind of realized that there were a lot of good suggestions out here, and and the point was we all startups need a platform, and fortunately for us we have received platforms. Smile, thank you Shashi Bala madam for being an immense support, Dr. Satish and everybody else in Smile. So I thought it is only fair that if I have received the platform, then I would rather show what I have done. So that's why I just wanted to have the presentation on. Basically, the first platform that we the first platform that we received was the Maharashtra State Innovation Society. Their Maharashtra Startup Week, we were winners in the first edition. This was the first platform. We were very, very young at that point of time. Haystack Analytics about 2 years back. That we were able to finish the clinical trial with JJ Hospital, published the data with Dr. Amita Joshi and her team with the National TB Elimination Program in Global Journal of Antimicrobial Resistance. This was the first clinical genomics trial finished and shown to have tremendous impact on better positive outcome for the patient. So that was published. I think we received a huge platform in terms of the Smile Incubation Council, where this could then be scaled. In the meanwhile, as a startup, we went ahead and we went ahead and applied for this product to be approved by the CDSCO. This became the first clinical genomics test to be approved by the CDSCO in India, the Omega TB solution. And as Sir said earlier, Smile is the only business incubator in a municipal corporation. I would like to add to that, Mumbai today, because of Smile, is the only metropolitan city in the world which has a genomics-based solution for infectious diseases, including tuberculosis. It has been our goal to actually do that. There are a lot of things. I don't want to go through all of this. This is the report that you're seeing. I just want to show this. This is the only report in the world today which can provide antimicrobial resistance profiles of 18 anti-TB drugs in one test. So this replaces LPA1, LPA2, midget first line, midget second line. It actually solves the problem of unreliability of several drug resistance in culture, including pyrazinamide, ethambutol, clofazimine, linezolid, pretonomide, bedaquiline. And because whole genome sequencing based, any new mutation that is declared by any research study in the world will be available in this the next day. So whether there is a research in Harvard which finds a mutation associated with resistance for a TB sample, it will be accessible to all TB patients in India through this, because it is a completely digital genomic solution. This is the CDSCO certificate that we received for it. This is the first test which not only finds out drug resistance to anti-tuberculosis 18 drugs, it is the only test which also is able to detect non-tuberculosis mycobacteria, and along with that it is able to detect heteroresistance and mixed infection, which is the only way for the clinicians to be able to justify the rise and fall of infection in tuberculosis, where patients start responding to therapy and then stop responding to therapy. We are able to say that on day 0. So this is the test on day 0 which gives 18 antibiotic resistance, non-tuberculosis mycobacteria, heteroresistance, and at a cost which is 50% lesser than current microbiological diagnostic available through the government. The other part which I want to talk about now is what you were talking about, and everybody is talking about data. This is very preliminary work. Very proud to say that this dashboard is now available with the epidemiological cell. So while the test is helping the patient and the clinician today, there is no extra step required to make it into an epidemiological tool. We are able to get with every test, this is a real-time dashboard which is available with the epidemiological cell, and we are able to get all the variants of TB, whether it's a Beijing strain or a Cas strain or a Delhi strain. Some of these strains are known to be more aggressive than others. You actually go ahead and get the entire GIS profile of which ward in Mumbai has what kind of resistance, and because it is genome sequencing, we are able to connect the entire transmission chain and tell the epidemiological cell that if here you have 80% of the patient with exactly the same mutation profile of drug resistance, then you are looking at tremendous amounts of transmission, versus in another place where you have drug resistance but different mutation profile, then you're looking at tremendous amount of primary resistance, which means your therapy is not being continued and there is more defaulting that is happening in the system. This is the amount of clarity we are able to make with no effort on our side, because it is genomics and the entire data is available for the epidemiological cell to work on, to publish on. They can do what they want to do. With this, over the past 1.5 years, with the private sector in India, we have gone ahead as a company from IIT Bombay. We actually have tied up with every IPAC lab in this country. We have not missed a single diagnostic chain. This test is now available in the private sector across 10,000 pin codes. In less than 1.5 years, this is the fastest scaling clinical genomic solution in the world. And the entire credit goes to Mumbai and Maharashtra, because the first study was done with Maharashtra State Innovation Society with Dr. Amita Joshi and her team, and the scale-up has been done with Dr. Geeta Natarajan, Shashi Bala Madam, and SMILE. Not only Mumbai is the TB capital of the world, it is the only place which is trying to solve that problem, and we respect that. The last part, coming to you, sir, on what we are doing elsewhere. This is the thing which we are right now with Godrej Memorial. This is India's first genomic test which can detect 47 different Mendelian disorders, can detect LDLR mutations, which can talk about familial hypercholesterolemia at birth, and all of this is now available in the private sector, and we would love to take it up with SMILE and BMC at some point of time for screening, where you are able to see results like these, where in heart health, we are actually screening more than 200 genes. These are genes and mutations which are characterized by the American Council for Medical Genetics. These are genes which are available in ClinVar. We are making all of this available in a single test using whole exome sequencing, which means that because we are doing whole exome, even 20 years later, if this patient needs to know about a new mutation which is required to administer a drug, the patient will not have to undergo a test. I have already sequenced the entire genome. The patient needs to log into his or her account and ask for that mutation, and we'll be able to bring that, which means in about 3 years from now, the cost of genetic tests will come down from lakhs to rupees and pence. And that is what we are trying to work on. So thank you again, SMILE. I hope we use the platform well.
So it's been a very wonderful session. We've all learned so many new things, and definitely big credits to BMC, to SMILE and Shashibala ma'am for choosing the topics very well, because we are one of the TB capitals of the world. We are one of the oral cancer capitals of the world, and we are trying to target both these problems, right, in a very effective way. So I'm going to summarize this. Yeah, ma'am.
So this is a lovely forum where startups can be incubated, or so with the doctors, if the technology like IITs, etc., can be present here, and they can just take the ideation. So there were lovely ideas which all the doctors presented, and if we have to develop indigenous products, so the germination of ideas have to happen here. So if with these doctors, if there are some technological partners who are here to develop, this would be a lovely forum for making it more, more brainstorming, more ideation sessions can happen from here, and the germination can start from here. That's it.
Actually, just wanted to add one more name. There are many, but I think one person who has been instrumental in us being able to do anything is Dr. Mangala Gumare. Amazing support from her and her entire office.
So we will wrap up the session. I just want to summarize a few interesting points. So whenever we think about healthcare startups, we need to understand that they're very beneficial to us, not only as an... Pardon? Yeah, please. If there's any questions, please. Not one, yeah, exactly, sir. Right.
And secondly, there is what is the practicability of this is very important. And Ayush, that told very nice, very nice. But see, most of the Ayurvedic practice are practicing for themselves, not for others. If you do some research, sir has told that if you do some research in Ayurvedic, which are wonderful. For example, turmeric. Germany has done as a policy that it is a good drug, but it was originating from India. But India did not go forward because Indian government did not support it. So we need a government where the Ayurvedic products are encouraged, and these Ayurvedic Acharya who are there should be involved, and they should be given a prime support, because there are many rheumatic arthritis are there. But there is no support given by the government to this person, so that this become a research product and it will be used for many things. For example, cancer. There are drugs in cancer in Ayurvedic, very nice, many patients have benefit, but it is not just the whole of India where the need is there. So in short, that this should be community participation, community awareness, and should be used by each and every person. Then the cost of that product, whatever madam told, will be lesser and will be more practicable. This is very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You've definitely summarized the entire the challenges that we face, right? But I'm pretty sure that we will eventually reach there. We will cover all your concerns in the long term. Somebody is going to create a solution. Okay, so why is it so important to have healthcare startups? I think not only is it an amazing way to improve healthcare outcomes, provide accessible healthcare to a growing population, right? Providing accessible healthcare to an aging population, okay? Tackling problems that are very endemic to a particular country, area, community, right? And more importantly, job creation, right? A lot of jobs are created in the process, a lot of revenue is generated, right? And last but not the least, global competitiveness. We need to be competitive. By doing and being successful in these startups, it is a way of showing that we are progressing and we are at the top of, providing good healthcare for our population as a whole. So thank you very much. Thank you to the BMC, to Smile, and to all the people involved in these wonderful initiatives, and to all the panelists for this wonderful discussion. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. I now call upon Shashibala ma'am to kindly come up on stage to hand over the certificates of appreciation to the panelists. The certificate of appreciation for Dr. Pranav Chikarmane. Sir is an AMO and consultant rheumatology clinic at Nair Medical Hospital. Ma'am, requesting you to kindly hand over the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Santosh Kondekar, Associate Professor, Department of Pediatrics, Nair Medical Hospital. Dr. Ketki Utpat, Associate Professor, Department of Chest Medicine, Nair Medical Hospital. Dr. Gaurav Surana, Assistant Professor, Department of Cardiology, Nair Medical Hospital. I now request our very own Dean and Director, Ma'am, Dr. Neelam Andrade. Ma'am, you. Dr. Jay Churasama, Senior Resident, Department of Gastroenterology, Nair Medical Hospital. Srimati Manisha Sarda, Marketing Head, Sascan Meditech Private Limited. Mr. Anirban Chatterjee, Founder, Haystack Analytics. Dr. Paul Mathai, Consultant Oral and Maxillofacial Surgeon, PhD Scholar, NHTC. I request all the panelists to kindly come forward. Ma'am, we'll just take a picture. All of you come forward, please. Lunch will be served on the 6th floor. I request everybody to proceed for lunch. Post lunch, kindly collect your certificates from the registration counter on the ground floor, new building. I thank you all. All the organizers and the Smile team kindly come forward. All the organizers of Nair Dental and Smile kindly come forward for a photograph together.